Okay, welcome to the project, which is the Interstellar Object CNEOS 0108-2014, which is said to be the first interstellar object found to come into our solar system, as it was determined sort of retroactively that it does not orbit around the sun, and two Harvard astronomers, Avi Loeb and Amir Siraj, were able to get data from Space Command and to confirm their ideas regarding this object. So what we're looking at here is, first of all, this is preliminary data, only partly verified in the sense that it sort of compares to what we already know about it with the data we have. So it represents an investigative set of data points rather than any kind of final conclusions on the topic. So it should be regarded as experimental data only. Now all these sessions were completed blind. The key points involve the nature of the object, location relevant to the event, origin of the object, what if any subjects are involved, and outcomes related to the event. Now the nature of the object. Our data indicates there was a metallic, reflective, and energetic component with a roundish, potentially cylindrical shape, among other pieces of data. It displayed oscillation, rotation, and vibration. There was also flashing light, bright light, lots of energy, and so on. The object was intelligently created. The object was intelligently controlled. It was also on a predetermined course, moving at high speeds, and broke apart as expected, then deviating from the course. That means that it blew up in, I believe, at least 3 points. And this object is said to have anyways then deviated from this trajectory and landed somewhere else. Of course, we don't know that, but that's what we're finding in just the pool of data. It may have been remotely controlled. We're not sure if it was piloted. There seems to be a little bit of haziness around that, as some people had drawn people in this sort of curved object that would open from the top, but we also got that it was remotely controlled, and then there was some sort of interdimensional strangeness how this was created into physical reality. And also, I believe the object is said to be somewhat small compared to at least what they found in the actual data of the object. Now, if there is something else that deviated from this course, this object is said to be rather small itself. Location. The data indicates this location involved water as well as land, because we got some rockiness, some muddiness. It occurred in the ocean near the shore. It is said to have landed or exploded above, I think it was northeastern Papua New Guinea or something like that. The directions seem to be from the northeast. Did I say northeast or northwest? Involving the area of Australia. Downward movement was described from the sky. Travel was tracked using instrumentation. According to our data, we saw some sort of scientific tracking and whatnot involved. Nothing too specific there. Origins. It's said to be cosmic or from outer space. Alien in origin. Higher dimensional, both in terms of what supposedly created it and where it originated from, or where it originated from. It's described as being very intricate, sophisticated, and not capable of being tampered with. So, it's created with the interest of Earth inhabitants and the planet in mind, and this was apparently planned and agreed upon in advance. That's what we're seeing, at least. Subjects involved. The initiators of this appear to be positive. They're described as advanced, powerful beings, also wise, loving, and so forth. Subjects involved on the ground appear to be tribal or aboriginal in nature. The sessions go on to sort of paint a greater picture around this, and also some ruins and some natural environs therein. These human subjects are described as stewards of the object, so it's as if they had expected this or knew about it in some way. They knew what to do. They kept it as something sacred. Outcomes of this event. Expedition and surprise finding was noted. It could be that something is still as yet to be discovered and stumbled upon. The object is described to break, hatch, or burst apart with energy at a certain point. This is said to be a big event, not of any kind of small significance at all. The energy provides balance and recalibration and helps facilitate a shift. There are said to be more than one such objects, methods, or procedures here on Earth. Certain things will be opened or unlocked with greater access to reality and potentials. One of the viewers described a sort of world of love and beauty. Also something related to the Akashic records, as far as greater access, perhaps. Outcomes also are that the Earth and government will be affected in no small way. Some people already appear to be in the know about this, be they in government or elsewhere, potentially. The overall outcome is very positive, especially for those embracing a positive orientation. That is really the gist of it. We'll go into some sessions now.
I can sense already a lot of energy about this target, and also the first impression is like I am in a tunnel, some sort of a tunnel. I don't know if it's a time tunnel or like going in high speed. I generally have a sense of rotation. Like I'm spinning.
Any other impressions?
Yeah, I will take some time to. The color red and something curvy. And maybe orange yellow. Like going somewhere inside. I'm going to follow these colors.
Okay.
Let's see where. It felt like I was in some cube that took me to somewhere.
A cube, okay.
Cube.
Oh, tube.
Cube.
Okay.
No. It's an area, vast area, a lot of light. I have a mixed sense of that this is some kind of sky, or I mean, this also looking from above. The feeling is nice also. A sense of clouds, but I'm watching from above.
And what do you see from that position?
I have a sense that right underneath me are some mountains. I have this feeling, I don't know why, that I'm watching from the edge of the target. Um, and in front of me there are clouds, but at the same time I think that maybe it's my imagination, because what I sense is an area with a lot of light. Like I get two images at the same time, I don't know why. I have the sense that there is the target with a lot of energy and a lot of light, and at the same time, maybe my imagination is interpreting like a serene sky that I'm watching from above, and with some pink
Okay.
hue coming from the sun, probably, or something. So I'm going to try to not merge the two images, but try to sense the target a bit more.
All right, sure.
It feels like a place. There is a lot of energy about it, nice energy. It's like it's somewhere like magical. Mm, I also get a sense of some rectangular shapes. I don't know if these are buildings or if this is some other kind of structure. Some straight lines, some like going up. Also some sense of like city walls or something. What could resemble like the wall of China, like this resemble like that. A tower-like building or part of the wall.
What do you perceive about this energy, if you were to focus on that?
Yes, it's again also the energy trying to approach me. Like it's two images. I don't know why this is happening, but this energy is very beautiful and golden light, and I have the feeling that I'm trying to interpret it, my imagination or something, but the energy is there. It's really golden, magical, full of potential, like you can do many things with this energy. And I do get also a sense of bliss. Like this energy also has something to do with creation. I'm going to try to approach again this energy and try to avoid any other interpretation.
All right.
There is something red about this energy, also golden, but the red is the red of the giants as I perceive the very high beings. I feel really surrounded by the target.
Is there anything taking place with this energy?
I sense something bad now. I don't know why. Like some negative.
Sorry, something bad like what?
Like some intrusion or something. What was your question?
Do you perceive anything happening with this energy? Anything taking place, or
Sorry, come again?
is there anything taking place around this energy or with this energy?
I get the word of like something being created or with creation. I have the sense that something is being built or something is being created. But not necessarily by humans.
What kind of thing do you sense being built?
I have a sense of rectangular shapes, a sense of something vast, and a sense of transportation, but not transportation necessarily as we know it. Some kind of.
Can you probe further on transportation?
Yes. I see some lights flashing. And I see like a blue smaller that comes out of different layers, blue, but layers of structures, like a blue shaped vehicle or capsule or um, and probably some people or beings inside it. I don't know. But there is something very intricate going on, something very that I cannot grasp. I'm trying to grasp what is going on, but it feels like it's difficult even for me to grasp or to describe or to, like, at the same time something is being born or created, and at the same time some sense of transportation infrastructure or travel infrastructure, but also not exactly infrastructure, but energy.
Okay.
And
What would that be used for if there is some kind of infrastructure?
the word that came is like space travel, but it doesn't feel exactly space travel.
Okay.
Like maybe having to do with dimensions or some other realms, not only the material. I don't know, maybe I am.
So focusing on the
First of all, the capsule is emanating bright light blue color, and a lot of bright blue color is inside it, but like also oozing outside.
okay.
It's like it feels like a vehicle that goes very specific directions, or more almost like on rails, but it's not rails. It's like maybe some predefined this not destination, but route.
Okay.
There are beings inside this, or energy, something to do, but something to do with beings. Like it feels like a vehicle, but not exactly. I don't,
Okay.
it it feels like it has some glass out, like I can see inside. I am allowed to see inside, but inside there is energy. I do sense some beings driving it, but driving it is like the closest thing to my perception of how this functions, because it feels that this is something that I cannot exactly describe or even understand, but they are trying to show it to me, or I am perceiving the target in the closest way to my perception of the third dimension or whatever, based on my experience. I mean, my experience.
Okay. If you were to just pay attention to this object you mentioned and let's say, watch it, would you observe anything going on or happening, or does anything transpire?
What what do you mean transpire in this context?
Take place or happen, or you can, as you say, look, see if anything happens in the future or in a timeline or a sequence of events, if there are any.
Yeah. First of all, right from the beginning, I sensed that there are some really high dimensional beings, giants, observing, watching, and knowing what is happening. I'm now going to take some time to see what is happening with these objects. Okay, it feels that this object can be lifted, and as it lifts, it unlocks certain things. And the word Akashic records came to my mind, but I'm not sure if I am just analytical overlay doing this thing.
Mm-hmm.
It lifts, it feels that it can lift, and as it lifts, it unlocks, like there is.
And what happens if and when it unlocks?
Now I see a small ball of light. It goes with speed. I again got the sense of some tube that leads somewhere. Wait, I will. You know, it feels like there is something, like, you know, the bathtub that has this, I don't know in English right now, to tap to prevent the water from going, you know, down the drain.
A stopper?
The stopper, like, it feels that this object removes like a big stopper, and that you can have access to some other things. I will try to go there to see what is underneath. I feel this is symbolical for me to understand or something.
Okay.
So I'm trying to move, to go inside to see what this object it removes. And I will go to see what is there. It feels that this object, that there are other objects like this, or methods, or processes, procedures, or I don't know, to remove, because there is another world, like to remove some layers, like crust, but almost maybe artificial crust, to remove it. And if you remove it, there is a lot of light, like there is a whole another world with light and beautiful energy, and that object had a lot of this energy because it is very powerful to be able to remove these things and reveal this other world. I don't know if it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a sci-fi fiction or something.
Mm.
Ah,
Do you have a sense of location?
sense of location.
Wherever this object is.
It feels it is in the sky. It all takes place in the sky.
Okay.
This is like, it feels like a known area, that we know this area, but we cannot see it for what it really is, like that. Wait, give me some time to. Location. Okay, now I see some relation to the Earth. Okay, the thing is that this whole thing situation is somehow in the sky or the astral realm or something, but there is a connection to Earth. But I see somewhere in the sea, in one of the two big oceans, the Pacific or maybe the Atlantic Ocean, not very far from the shore, from the left, the United States, maybe. Not the, I mean America. I'm not sure it's the United States. Like this thing is going to burst. The crust will break. The burst is like some kind of controlled burst. And something, because there is like a tube that relates it to some place in the sea and the ocean, it will affect through, like I see a very thin, like tube, like some energy from that burst. There is a tube, maybe energy tube, I don't know, that will come to Earth too. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But I see some location close to the shore. Maybe the shore of United States or Mexico, somewhere.
Close to the shore.
Yes, not very far from the shore, but in the ocean. I think the Atlantic. I think the Atlantic.
Okay. Now let's say moving ahead of the event you just described without trying to think or understand. Just tell me if you perceive anything next or after that, or any kind of events that could be associated.
Yes, I perceive explosion or volcano, a volcano. Some, it feels like tsunami. But I don't know if it's a water or some energy ripple effect.
Okay.
But I do sense explosion or volcanic eruption, something like that, because I see like fire or lava or explosion material going up. Like a very big thing, though. Very big thing taking place, affecting many places close to the shore. I get the sense of Florida. I don't know. Like it will affect the shore. Very big. Very. And there may be causing a lot of turmoil or affecting a lot. Maybe people will have to evacuate these areas or something. Like I feel like as you look at the map, the states that are in the United States mostly, like east, southeast, something like that. But it is necessary to happen. Because this creates a spinning place that needs to calibrate or recalibrate the Earth or something. Because it is related to some bigger picture. Shift, I think. The Earth shift or something. And there are some actions taken from above for Earth to recalibrate it. And it is one of them.
One of who? It's one of who?
It is one of these actions taken by above, I don't know how to exactly, and but also Earth, but the being of Gaia is also consenting to this. And the part of humanity is also in arrangement or in agreement with the whole process also.
What do you perceive directly after this event that you mentioned? This something affecting the shore, turmoil and spinning and related to the shift.
Yes, it feels, first of all, that the government, not the government, but that now the ones that have not very good agenda, dark agenda. Now they realize that it feels that they had been expecting it because they have some access to knowledge about this thing, but they tried to prevent it from happening. But now this has happened, and some people die, but not as many as we would have expected, because many have evacuated, because there is also knowledge from the bright side of the whole thing, and many have evacuated. Or those who know have evacuated. There has been some information, and those who die, it has been pre-agreed for them to die. It is okay, no, not to moan about them, not to grieve. They know what they are doing. And the dark ones, now they know that there is no going back. And they have to decide what to do. Do they go to the bright side, or do they stay where they are? And from there are many possibilities about what happens. And it seems that the bright side, maybe the light workers or whatever, they are setting the ground, preparing the situation for the best possibility to take place, the higher vibration possibility to take place, and that we all together experience the higher possibility. Because it's not one thing that can take place. It feels that it can go many different directions, but we, or the light workers, are preparing the ground for the best possibility to take place. But the dark ones, they shrink, and I feel the shrinkage gathering again in the United States, but somewhere like there is a headquarters of this also, somewhere in the United States. Maybe close to the border of Canada and towards the east, like the mid east of. But they shrink. I feel shrinking, and that there in one area there is a lot of dark people having gathered, and a lot of dense dark energy there for a while, trying to see what they are going to do now. But also what I sense is that many of them who were in the border between darkness and light have started to being absorbed by light. Like they opened up a little bit to light. So they yeah. Yes, like that. But the light workers, this happens at a time when light workers and the bright side is very powerful. And they can do many things. They can control reality, but in a good way, you know. They can spread the light very effectively. And they feel, the dark ones can feel it, and they gather somewhere, but shrunk. Like they have no escape now, and they have to decide which way they go, what they to do next. But they know that they have no choice now.
And what happens if these dark ones stay?
They can only stay in a confined space where they can just exist, and they are very confined. But this is only one possibility, you know. If that they stay there and they develop some kind of cannibalistic, like they start eating each other until they vanish, like that. But this is a bad case scenario. which is also plausible, but the light, the grip of light, they have no choice, and they cannot also escape. And it feels that they are some who jump outside of this dark, dense circle and get absorbed by light. And in the end, they are completely engulfed, and they are like, there is nowhere to go for them.
Would you describe these dark ones as humans or other or both?
Humans.
So it'd be people living on Earth.
Yes. From government, like that, people of power, they are.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a sense of a time that this is apparently happening, or did, or will happen?
Future, I feel future. Maybe not too close where we are now, but I sense time geographically. Maybe now in our lifetime, but not like in a few months, or not in the very near future.
What about in relation to this tunnel that took place or was created?
The tunnel.
Yeah, is it directly related to that in time, or separate apart from there?
I don't understand the question.
Is it connected in time with when this so-called tunnel was created, or path, or
It feels that the tunnel is there already. It's probably an energetic tunnel, or some other kind of tunnel that we don't understand. And I have a sense that there are some other things going on around there related to some other stuff. But I'm only can see right now the one related to the target, let's say. I forgot what was the question. Did I answer it, or?
I think so. Well, let's just approach it from this angle, though. If you were if this was to occur in the future, do you have a sense of, do you see yourself in this? And how old do you look?
Myself? Shit. I can only perceive myself being very calm and in the know about this.
Okay.
And in control.
In control.
Okay, this first one, our 2 sessions are by Patrick Flanagan. He comes up with wavy energetics, motion, man-made ideograms, preliminary colors of blue, white, as well as open, upwards, cool, temperature, above, wide, panoramic, bright, light feeling. Floaty, space, air, expansive, curved. Sky, light feeling of upwards, elevated, bright blue, airy. Man-made, angular, beveled, flat, curved, round, flat, crisscross pattern, reflective, slick, hot, metallic, energetics, and this is an object feeling upwards. an aesthetic impact that is a feel of spinning or turning motion, rotating, silver, floaty. It's moving to the man-made here. It's round. The object is spinning, elevated in position, silver, gliding above land and metallic in feel. He AOLs a UFO disc shape. More energetics. Brightness to this, like it's in daylight. The feeling of land below, yellow golden color, open expansive feel. Feeling of land below. AOL's a crop circle. Something round moving above land, bright scene. Very golden yellow background. We get the repeating theme of golden through some of these sessions, like of desert or barren beige parts. Land, no structures that he can see. There is a disc shape, spinning, upwards, elevated, rotating. Feeling of an object spinning above ground, AOL UFO. Very interesting. Going back and going into his next session, there's wavy motion, energetic ideograms. More colors, elevation, bright light, radiance, glowing, encompassing. He has the sense of biblical theme or bright golden scene. More of the yellow golden, glowing or shining bright, beaming bright, radiance, feeling pleasant, heavenly, and peaceful. The feeling of immersed in some radiant light, warm, moving downwards, encompassing, angelic feel, transformative, affecting me, us, them, a spiritual-like idea. He feels people can sense it. It's acknowledged, divine in some way, enlightening, communication or communicating a subtle impact, changing a person or people. Incoming, like heavenly energetics, feeling of a bio or male immersed in this, something being communicated to this person. Lifting energetics, taking up ascending feel, something unique or special about this event, transforming and changing this person. This sort of depiction of Moses on Mount Sinai, communication with God, and if we look at the picture that he attaches with this, kind of reveals that he has something hot, curved oval. He's not sure what it is, but it's like an opening portal or object, receiving communication, transforming, energetic, God or gods, religious or godlike event. You see this person surrounded by golden light, coming downwards, transforming of people. People can sense it, acknowledge divine in some way, heavenly energy flow. So this is his second session, which conceivably could be figured in as maybe one of the aspects of outcome. And again, something communicated, feels in the past to him, get man-made and motion again, something in action in the sky, misinterpreted as a UFO. Oh, misinterpreted, and it's like a UFO, reminds of a UFO depicted in religious artwork. And his one of his other drawings, as submitted, is this sort of curved or rounded object, and we see like what could be someone inside. So that's it on the pictures. Yeah, it's a really interesting session. So up is John Dixon. I'm narrating for him as he couldn't narrate he didn't have time, and I'll also do Charlie and Gemma, and then Demi and Henrietta have done their own. So we start with a sort of advanced data here, light spheres. This ideogram was something kind of shooting down or across. I think that's flight or plight, and object, man-made object. Yes, it looks like flight again. Water, liquid, energy, motion, man-made object, surreal, circular, wavy, moving. We get triangular through here somewhat. There may be some kind of triangular shape throughout the sessions, rather. Has an AOL of a black hole, energy, motion. Got this data here. This AI or aesthetic impact of sort of what? Like I need to grab a camera. And man-made object moving vertical. We see some of this rotation, direction, circulating, oscillating. So that's of note. A grouping of eyes, possibly people watching, I'm looking, I'm not sure. Small, spherical, vibrating, expanding. UAP is listed. So he put that to the side, but that's something he was picking up. Summary. Target so far consists of the following components: object, energy, motion, bioorganic. Motion, movement is the purpose. Energy, motion, movement, expansive, oscillating, originating, obtuse, triangular formations, calculating, looking for motive, transfused, mountain bodies, testing, science. Object, disproportionate, smaller. Composition of two humanoid bodies. I think that's composition. Don't know what to say. Some kind of AOL of robot or android. Fast, I think that's radical, moving spheres, bioorganics. Move to bioorganics and describe. Okay, so we've got body feel. My body feels like it's moving so fast. Mute, busy, different level of consciousness. Particle acceleration, changing atomic structure. We see some atomic looking dynamics going on here. Particle dynamics. Here he said that he felt something breaking apart and sort of this energy barrier and these two two contrasting elements with the barrier, and whether it's breaking through or penetrating. You get this man-made object here, and it seems to be breaking through and apart. Here's his timeline. This is going to be starting from the past forward. Development of disorienting natural function or order of geological geographical law. I feel stuck like in between time and space. Can't or won't move forward or backward. Object exposed to certain energy. And then up to the closer point, causing a dramatic acceleration, changes the dynamics and changes how structure represents in 3D. His session summary states target contains elements of bioorganic, energy, motion, man-made object. Bioorganics is or has undergone a rapid transformation, altered state of transferring conscious thought, automatic functioning, moving so fast, a flash of so much data. Like seeing a lot of data, fast forwarded life events, particles shifting, separating, as like a globby plasma like state of matter. It's interesting that he notes or depicts normal DNA and this other DNA that seems to be affected with exposure to light or something like that. So this is general structured and then branching off from each other and complicated. Energy motion, extremely bright, compressed, cyclone-like rotation, collapses within itself. Resolves on an inner core, distributes gas, altered angles, degrees, too many folds to calculate, and bends. Object, cylindrical, sphere, slick, thin, pointed, a copy or clone in a different dynamic than the original in terms of shape, size, alloy, or building equipment and periodic elements. They're exclusive to this planet. The object can judge its own calculated formations, its obstacles depending on outer influences and I think structures. This is also noted in the ERV session. So we have several CRV and paper sessions, as well as 2 ERV sessions, one of which will be at the end. Now that is the end of John Dixon's. We'll move on to Charlie's. Get that into focus here. Alright. And he depicts water, glistening of light, fixed movement, constant sway, haphazard, chaotic burst, a lot of sudden motion at this straight line. And I'm not sure what's depicted here, but we have dark and maybe... well, we've got light casted on about a third. Spreading upward in multiple directions. I'm not sure if these are ripples. Fixed intervals. We see this a couple times. Fixed intervals or some kind of repeating pattern. And we see that here. Kind of gets this feeling of a sewer entrance. We perceives water or liquid coming out of a dark place. Swirling, glistening with light, warm, refreshing, stuck in one place, bound to a point. Confinement, hard to move around. Mobility is limited. Cramped space. Startled by a harsh noise. So we have some more descriptors. Concave, hot. Ensnared trap, sense of urgency, sense of duty, progressing out of the dark, out of the light into the dark in this case, wandering into somewhere unknown, treacherous, be careful. Okay, he's got a heel, round, reflective again. This is a repeating pattern through the sessions. I think he's depicting water here and maybe like a sunset or object on the horizon anyways. Goes deep. So we have a obviously a boat on choppy waters. It's interesting to note. More of this sort of round cylindrical extremely bright, blinding, very bright. Venture, take a risk. And then we have Gemma, whose sessions are a little short on this one, in this case. She did get this sort of feeling of beach outside, flames, hovering, radio, maybe communication, possibly tracking. Because she gets response, initiation, navigation system, traveling, something about invention, something about fortify. Light colors, taste natural, so on and so forth. Going down quite quickly. She AOL's a star and just has some figures. I'm not sure what those are involved, what they're doing. We've got this rounded object. Get a sense of travel once again. Priest. Something protruding parts. Structure, shapes that overlap or link up in some way. There's pipes or tubes. Dion goes in to describe these pipes or tubes. that are more of a pathway or channel or dimension of energy or something to that effect. We've got orbit, object, says insignificant, unidentified, creature, some other watery, salty, something feels alive, warmth. She does have one other session. We'll just briefly go over that. That was, I think, her first one, and we didn't get a whole lot of data out of that one. In this case, kind of went off track a little bit, but we keep getting golden in some of these. A lot of these same similar colors. Natural. There's some sort of cheering involved. Kind of fast forward. This part here seems potentially relevant. This transcendental creation. It's all part of the plan. Guidance to do good by others. God, esoteric, religion. What else? I think that's going to be it on this one, and then we'll jump into the other sessions.
So here is my intro to the session that I have done on target 83631401. As you can see, my initial gestalts for the target were biological, natural, man-made, motion energy, and land. The ambience, overall ambience, felt dim, dark, nighttime-like, and I was picking up on something which I identified as motion energy, which was lit, glowy, orangish yellow. Here you can see I have a sketch about like a clearing with dense vegetation on both sides and a rocky hilly formation at the back. The next thing that I'm picking up is a biological who seems to be male, tan-skinned, sporty or athletic build, underdressed. Very distinctively, I am picking up that the biological is painted over with something, and the colors of this painting are white, red, and black. After that, I start to do an open timeline search. So the first thing that was popping up from the session on the timeline was a glowy, hot, streamy, powerful, pillory, gold yellow, pulsating, extremely burning energetics, which I will call a solar flare or a fire. There is a motion to it, and there is like a streaming aspect to it. So I assume, given that this is how we are going backwards, I assume that this is to indicate the comet itself. Before I see this target aspect or target element as a glowy, hot, fire streaky thing, it appears to be dry, hard, pelletized, long, blocky. I describe it as mud bars or like mud poles. So definitely the material seems to be of a natural origin, but the shape and the formation suggest that it has been crafted by intelligent life. Before it became that pelletized form, it seems like it was wet, gray, moisty, muddy, and of a clay type of material. I pick up some kind of molding technological process. Before it was molded into this shape, it was in a wet, muddy, brown, hay-like, straw-like, and clay-like state of matter, which is some kind of natural material mixed with fluid. I am picking up something which is orangey colored, clayish, coarse, cracked, dry, bronzy colored, and it looks some form of a reddish hued, coarse, rough, cracked or scattered image. So I'm like definitely picking up something which is like scattered and laying horizontally. I had a lot of AOLs of Egypt and Egyptian sculptures. So I decided to do a P5 on some of my impressions. At its most basic instinctual level, what does Egypt mean to me? It means it's something, obviously it's a place or a location which is historic, ancient, many millennia old. The society with advanced construction skills, and it It's a society with advanced artisan skills. After a break again, I am picking up man-made, natural, and land. The man-made seems to be black beige, curvy, oblong. Again, it feels clay-like, but interestingly, I'm not AOLing it as natural, but I have AOL as a relic, and I'm picking it up as cracked or broken, ornate, and I see pieces of it shattered on the ground, which is interesting because people speculate that it landed in water, but it seems like certain pieces of it, when it's scattered, when it entered the atmosphere and scattered, it might have landed on land. This is a very interesting sketch here. That's a timeline reference. And there is something bright and glowing up in the sky. The biological feels confused and interested at the same time. He starts like praying, and he's like standing in front of these energetics. The energetics is described as yellow, golden, bright, blazing, radiating, spherical, circular above. I evaluate it as the sun, and like people on a hill in a rocky formation are basically looking up to this energetic phenomena on the sky. Then after I see this scene with the energetics up in the sky, I am picking up a wave of bright light emanating from a ground level. I assume that would be the impact, which I describe as flashy bright, flooding everything for a quick second because it's just zappy. It feels like either a lightning or an explosion. It lightens up and that's it. Interestingly, in the timeline, in a later point, I see that there are male humans traversing, trespassing, wearing modern gear, meaning they are not from the original tribes, and they are on an expedition, walking, scanning, scouting, assessing the terrain, apparently looking for something. It seems like they stumble upon this site or relic. They are explorers. They find like a hollow, tight opening on a slanted formation, which seems to be a hilly aspect, and it seems like they stumble upon this relic. So this is all I had for this target. Thank you for your patience and bearing with me.
So I will share my screen to wrap the session. From the get-go, on my first ideogram, I've got curving, I've got energetics, I've got land here, a lot of motion, round, hollow in the middle, vertical, floating, violet, glowing, white, maybe some these colors, some of these colors can point out of what kind of material has on it, or maybe it was me seeing through my eyes. Again, shading colors, sucked, curvy up, looping, again, sliding, and I've got that impression that it was popping up from nowhere, like something like this. Fast, shortcutting, wrapping, growing, changing. Again, land, also life. I think at this point, I also came into the idea of looking for this celestial object from our part, from humans, from scientists, from observatories, from all these kind of records that can fit and say for sure what's happened there. Again, energy motion on it. Something like life, energy motion, fluid. Sometimes on my session, fluid can be water, but sometimes can be space air, because I feel the same under my fingers when I try to probe those. And at that point, I was very much attracted to the ancient times, like Alexander the Great building things around this idea of having something to build things around, or to get something around. And that also Atlantis with a place that were having like round angled, hard radial centered, and which was old to me, of course, at that point. An island as an well, I've got an A as beautiful, perfect. And sometimes this means for me that some drama here. Well, it's not. And then I've got stuck in that thing that I was seeing through something. I was observing this event through something. It was locating. It was very detailed. I've got some senses, perceptions, and then again solid, fluid, round in the middle. Again, my amazing AI here. And I see from above a place that was like an island or with something in it. I don't know. Sometimes the viewer thinks that his jaw is something, but its jaw sometimes means totally different things for the targeteer, for the tasker, or for the science also, and fit into the target. And then again, this thing, I try to connect with them to see what's happened there. And then I got to the focus of the target, and again, come back to the ancient part of my back thinking of what is this. So I put it down as an OL king rule of ancient time. And with like Montezuma again, something from the South America, some golden artifacts. I felt it was there, some expensive one, detailed, decorated. A place that was built like a foundation, starting something, very hard base. And then I came back again to my pyramid from Montezuma. I was drifted away a little bit. But then something popped up again. I took a break because of my OLs. And then I have this sensation that they were looking for something. I think at this point I came with the idea that they're gonna look for this celestial object because it was drawn in the Pacific Ocean, I think, and they're gonna look there with an expedition. So I think I saw it in the future. In my mind, those things were nothing like UFOs, just like flying objects. Like I also have a helicopter as an OL. My idea was ever ruins, but they're looking for something there. They're trying to spot something in the area. And then I've got this telescope. And again, I saw this thing like the lens of a telescope, an electronic telescope or a very advanced telescope to show everything on it. And it was like looking through it and saw something. I saw like green, black, red, the black screen, green lights, red lights. I have now else infra lights and screen again. And I think at this point, I've got the way they try to fit the materials, try to observe the materials from which is formed the celestial body. And I think they use spectroscopy or spectrophotometry for this kind of thing. And again, like mapping an area. I think I have a precognitive kind of working on this target also with the target itself on this. I was very much interested in what they would find in the future regarding this. Fluid also again. And then I have a draw like an artifact of a very known artifact from South America of a little object. I probably you know about it. A little golden object that was very much like a rocket, let's say, but from the ancient time, of course. Okay, so pretty much these were my best findings on it. And I think that's it for this one. And I will stop sharing my screen. I think you will understand from what I've said, what I did, some of my points here, and hopefully all the session will fit to each other like a puzzle to offer us a general view over the target. Thank you, and thank you, John, for this great target.